guy glasses on so I can read the sponsors without screwing them up. Better turn that all down because now my phone's making noises. See, we're organized. This is a well-oiled machine here.
It sounds like you're having fun too.
Oh, we have a blast. I tell everybody it's more fun than I'm allowed to have. Oh, wait, we're even live already. All righty. Anyway, we're back at Hoagie's Garage on our Wednesday night episode. Always want to go through the sponsors real quick. We'll start out with Morning Sun Marketplace out in Thomasville, Pennsylvania with Rick and Sue Fritz. Hawk Wings up in Jackson, Minnesota. You need a wing for pretty much anything, they'll build it. Didn't they even build one for a snowmobile once?
Yeah.
So pretty much whatever you want. My Race Pass. If you don't have My Race Pass, you're missing out if you're a race fan. Well, we talked to him Saturday at our show up there.
Yep.
What did he say? They got 1,000 tracks now in America?
I don't even know, Tobe.
Well, that's the number I thought I heard.
That was Saturday.
That was Saturday. That was a few days ago. Kaiser Wheels right down the road here in Alton, Iowa. Be Wiser by Kaiser. Kudum Auto Sales over in Inwood, Iowa. R&K Insulation also over in Inwood, Iowa. Houston Speedway, we call it our home track. Mother's Day is getting closer. Every week we do this, bud.
That's right.
What do we got? Like 5 weeks? 6 weeks? I don't know. It ain't that many anymore.
Nope.
Houston's, well, we did Houston's already. Fulkins Brothers Trucking. If you need some livestock hauled pretty much anywhere in the country, give Trim a call.
Call Trim.
Also like to thank them for what they do for racing. S2F, start to finish, another streaming service. They got Power Eye, Port City. I think there's like 5 different Power Eye series. There's a lot to watch on it. Look it up. Hero Haven, like to thank them for all that they do for the vets, first responders, the trips they take them on. And then, of course, last but not least is Lumber Lounge and Garage Bench Racing with Shane and Snow. Shane mixed her up now. He's doing his shows at noon. So he was on at noon yesterday. Jeez. That's his new thing. He's going to go at noon. He figures that keeps him from rambling for 2 hours.
Oh, that's good.
So it was a 39-minute show or something. I don't know, something like that. I watched part of it over my noon and a half, and I watched the rest today. So anyways, give him a listen. He gives a little rundown on things, gives his take on things. He has guests on. It's a good show to listen to. It's our competition, but we don't mind a little competition.
Well, competition, but it's basically we promote each other.
Yeah. His show's better than ours probably, absolutely. But we don't tell him that too often.
Here we go. Hey, we're back at Hoagie's Garage, and we have Scott Gobrecht.
Gobrecht. Good old German Dutch name.
Gobrecht. There we go. And how you doing tonight, Scott?
I am good. Very good. I appreciate you guys giving me the chance to get on here. I know our good friend Rick Fritz kind of made this happen, and I'm glad he did.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we like to give Rick a bad time. Hopefully you give him a bad time for us out there because we only get to see him at Knoxville.
Yeah, he's his business isn't but maybe 20, 25 minutes from where I'm at. So I don't stop in there as much as I like to, but when I do, we always have some good conversations.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm supposed to get to see him at the Weichert Memorial. He's supposed to be there this year.
So
that's what he tells me.
Yep. All right. Scott, why don't you just give us we both got things going on in our phones, so we're a little distracted. Sorry, Scott. Give us a quick rundown of who you are. Are you married? Do you have any kids? Stuff like that real quick.
Yeah. Thank you. I was born and bred in New Oxford, Pennsylvania. So I didn't have much of a choice other than to be involved with racing. You know, when you think about New Oxford, you think of Stevie Smith. The Siegel family, you know, Bobby Allen was right down the road in Hanover. So, all about racing for sure. Got a 31-year-old son, Mitchell. We work together in our family business. You know, my day job is in the golf cart business. We're an easier distributor. We sell golf cars to golf courses and pretty much everything around that. And just started racing at a young age. You know, my youngest brother, Kevin, the middle brother, Brian, we all raced, but Kevin sort of started the way. We grew up literally blocks away from the Smith garage. And, you know, I went to high school with Stevie. We were in the same class, same grade. So Kevin bought a used cart from Stevie Smith way back in the day, and we started racing at a local go-kart track outside of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania called Hunterstown. A lot of names come out of that place. You know, Chase Dietz, Mark Smith, Stevie Smith. A lot of big names come out of there. Chris Esch. So we were racing go-karts, and then we went to micro sprints, sprint cars, legend cars, and everything along the way. When I started a family, I kind of slowed down with the racing thing, and I wanted to get back into it. So I drove for quite a bit, but it just got to the point where I was getting concussions a little more than I wanted to. I was just starting to get a little bit worried, so I slowed down on the driving part and just wanted to find something to do to be involved with the sport. So I ended up purchasing a Legend Car series. Had that for a lot of years. Ended up buying a racing show from Todd Fisher, who actually owned Babs Motor Speedway at the time. Back then it was called Susquehanna Speedway. And the purchase of the racing show ultimately led to the purchase of the Speedway. And then about 8 years ago, I had the opportunity to get involved with Lincoln Speedway. And I have two great partners there, Jerry Parrish and Mike Hefner. So that's kind of where we're at today.
Well, you kind of jumped back in with both feet yet then, you could say.
Yeah, and I guess I missed one. About almost 2 years ago, we built a micro track on the facility at Babs Motor Speedway, McGrew-Bid Motorplex. It's going to be 2 years old here this June, July-ish. So, yeah, we got a lot going on. The micro track runs on Friday night, both Babs and Lincoln runs on Saturday nights. Babs has some specials on Sunday, so we stay busy with it.
Yeah, there's some guys around here that want to get a micro track going really bad because there isn't one what you would call
We
close.
don't have one, yeah.
No. I mean, you got a fair drive to get to one, I believe, for a micro track. So they were trying last year to figure out how to do it, and I haven't heard anything lately, but hopefully they get her pulled off because I could stand to watch some micros.
Yeah. I think they're hoping that Todd Queering up at Houston somehow decides, hey, that's a good idea.
Then you'll see one real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fritz has got his camping spot reserved already, so I'm going to see him at the Wykert. So.
All right, that's good. That's good. So how did this PA Posse TV thing come all about?
It's an interesting story. I mean, we had a great relationship with Flo at Lincoln Speedway. I mean, we started with Speed Shift TV back then, and they were absorbed by Flo, and we had a great relationship along the way. But it just got to the point where we wanted to try something a little different. We were really starting to see the impact on our crowds when the weather was iffy. It wasn't as bad, if you had good weather, but when the crowds was iffy, it was bad. So we just made the choice to try to do something ourselves, and it's been great so far. We've had one, two, maybe three races at Lincoln Speedway on that channel, and we've had two at Babs Motor Speedway, and we're just now getting into our season. We got a lot scheduled. We got some stuff at Bedford, Salinas Grove, and different tracks.
Yeah, you got a pretty decent schedule put out. It's like, what is it, 40 or 50 races or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it goes pretty much from the Icebreaker, which is late February at Lincoln Speedway, all the way through to the Sprint Showdown at Babs, which is literally right before Thanksgiving. We pretty much have something every weekend, and even though we've only got a handful of races under our belt, real proud of where it's at. We now have a drone implemented into the night. We have a traveling reporter that goes with the series. We have multiple cameras. It's really been good. There's some growing pains, like with anything, but it's been really good since then.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know, Rick kind of told us a little bit what happened the first night out. You guys were kind of expecting like a certain number, and the number was way above that, and that caused some problems, which is a good deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad thing to have a greater demand than what you anticipated, and we anticipated a lot. I mean, we had a great partner that we started with on sort of the data provider side. I'm sure I'm not looking at it the right way, call it bandwidth, whatever the right term is. And we were slowly testing this thing over the fall with a couple races, and had no issues. But yeah, we just had too much throughput going through, too much volume going through too small of a hole. And it took us one weekend to realize we just needed to step that up. We literally changed partners. Got a dedicated server, and it's been real good since then. I mean, there's always little hiccups, but it isn't near like it was before. And it's been really good. I mean, the show is great, and the amount of subscribers we've been having has been solid. It really speaks to just the power of Central Pennsylvania. We really got a great fan base out here, great portfolio of tracks, and literally some of than race teams in the country.
Yeah,
absolutely. So you said something about a traveling reporter that goes with the series. So is he in the booth then, or is he in the doing like the reporting from the pits? You just use the track announcers at the tracks then, or?
Yeah, it's actually a she. Her name is Trish Heller. You know, she travels with the series. Not so much the series, with the live stream.
Yep.
And she has a dedicated camera, and they go into the pits and just do interviews, you know, with quick time,
Yep.
heat winners. For the most part, we'll use the announcer of the Speedway. And so far, Wayne Harper, Steve Inch have done it at Lincoln Speedway, and Dave Hare has done it at BAPS, and it's been going well.
Yeah. So from what I've seen, you guys are kind of requiring a per race price and not doing like a Flow or Dirt Vision where you can do it monthly or yearly. Is that correct, or how's yours all set up?
Yeah, that is correct. You know, the model that sort of the trend center for that got it all started was Dirt Track Digest, Sprint Car Unlimited. You know, they had a pay-per-view model where you literally buy the show that you want. It's not a subscription. And then there was a revenue share with the Speedway. So we just sort of modeled after that, and it's been working good so far.
So I'm sure you can just go to papossetv.com or whatever and find that, but what is the cost then per show?
It's basically modeled at the general admission price. So if it's $25 to get in, it might be $26 or $27 to buy it.
So if you got 3 or 4 guys sitting around a garage watching TV, it's pretty cheap then.
Yeah, it really is. And something we're noticing too is after the first BAPS broadcast in mid-March, Monday we had a handful of people buy the replay of the race. We offer that at a discounted price.
Oh, okay.
And it was interesting to see who it was. You know, it was a sprint car driver that had raced. It was a late model driver that had raced, and they just wanted to sort of watch on their own time, sort of hone their craft. So that's been an interesting development.
Yeah. Now is there, I thought I saw something that you could buy some sort of subscription for the whole year. What is that, a replay deal, or what is I thought there was something you could buy for the whole year. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, it might be. We all know how the lovely internet and social media is now. There's a lot of fake news and stuff out there. Maybe you kind of latched onto something like that, but yeah, we don't really have that offering at this time.
Okay. All right. Well,
I can't believe you can't believe everything on the internet.
Yeah, no kidding.
I always thought that was the gospel.
How hard was it to get, all the cameras and stuff like that, and to find people to run all those? Was that a big undertaking or not really?
I'm a little biased about Central PA, but Central PA is literally the best of everything. We have some of the best tracks, some of the best drivers, best race teams, and it also follows through. We have some of the best cameramen too. So when it came time to make this decision, a lot of the talent that you need to get started was right in our backyard. So we just kind of worked with them and got them on board, and it's been great. Pretty much everybody that's on the team is definitely local. They're all big race fans. They're passionate about what they do, and you take hard work and passion and put it together. A lot of times it's hard to be successful.
Sure. Yeah, so absolutely. Is it the same crew then that goes to all the tracks then, or do you have somebody different for each track?
Nope, it's the same crew. We have a crew of about 6 people. We have a producer, sort of a team leader, 2 cameramen, drone operator, and then and I'm probably off a little bit on the number here. And then, of course, Trish is our pit reporter.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Fritz says just me, LOL. So I don't know if he's the one responsible for all this or what he's thinking, but you never know.
Hey, if you ever figure out what Rich Fritz is thinking, write a book. You can sell that thing.
You can sell that book and make a fortune helping people figure somebody out.
Looking at BAPS, that's one track that I have personally not watched a ton of races on, so I'm actually really excited about the PA Posse, because we can always sit here and watch it in our garage. But what are your big shows? What do you guys all do at BAPS? Kind of promote BAPS, and then you can do the same thing with Lincoln.
Well, one of the coolest things we got going on at BAPS this year, and it's literally weeks away. The Lucas Oil late models are coming to BAPS Motor Speedway for the first time ever. BAPS was built in the 50s, so it's 70 some years old. They've never been there, and they're coming in Saturday, April 25th. We're part of Pennsylvania Speed Week, which is a big draw for our area, and we have a World Outlaw race too in July-ish, the end of July, not far before the Knoxville Nationals. And then BAPS as itself just has a very strong Saturday night program. There are divisions that are sort of unique to our area. Super Sportsmen's came out of the Silver Spring days, late models. We have a stock car division we call Extreme Stocks, and then we'll rotate in some other things in there too, like limited stocks and legend cars. So BAPS races quite a bit, and we're blessed to have a gentleman named Colton Gauss. He's our general manager. He works tirelessly to make all this work, but we'll do things like we'll have a test and tune on Wednesday. We'll race the micro track on Friday. We'll race the big track on Saturday, and he just makes everything all happen there.
It's a busy weekend, you're saying there.
What with the micro track, how many cars are you getting, and what's the age group of the people driving them?
We opened the season at McGrew-Bend Motorplex just a couple days ago on Saturday. We had 115 cars in the pit area. Our main divisions are the Hyper Micro Sprints. We run the wingless micros and winged micros. There's a fairly new division to our area. It's a little more predominant out your way in the Midwest, but Junior Sprints, they're for the kids. They're 6 or 8 to 12 is their age group. And then this on Saturday, we also had the PA micro benches there too, which is there's a 300 division, which is more for the littler guys, and then the 500s for the big guys. But our core are those 3 main divisions, the Hyper, wing to wingless, and then the Junior Sprints.
Okay.
Cool.
I was just thinking, and I can't, maybe you said it already and I forgot, but the Posse TV, that's just following that PA Posse series that's out there, correct? Or is that going to be at BAPS on off weekends with the series?
Our plan at first was to stay with our provider at BAPS up until the series races came in the fall. But it just made a little more sense to do it right away. So all of the 11 races that we have scheduled, I shouldn't say 11 because one of them is an outlaw race. So the 10 of the 11 that we have will be streamed on PA Posse TV. And then it does sort of follow the series. It just streams all the races at Lincoln too. Now Flo and Williams Grove have their own live stream partners, but it'll stream most of the other races too, like at Bridgeport and Bedford and Silians Grove.
Okay, so it's not every race in the series when they're at a track that's already affiliated with a different server.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I'm sure somebody's wondering that same question that's listening to the show. It wasn't just me.
What are you most looking forward to this year?
I'm really excited about what we got going on with that micro track. I really do. I mean, we're going to be 2 years old this summer. We were supposed to open in the spring of 2024. And just between construction and just different things going on, we didn't get open on time. So our first race ever at that place was Hyper Speed Week. We had 106 wingless micro sprints there. Just, it was such an accomplishment to get the place open. And literally our first night was our biggest night. And our claim to fame that we'll always remember is the very first feature winner at McGrew-Bend Motorplex was Braxton Bush. He won the junior sprint division that night. So we all know that kid's going to be racing on Sunday someday. So it's going to be nice to know that he kind of got started there. So I'm really excited what's going on there. The PA Posse TV, it's great to see that sort of grow and develop into what it's come into. And just the schedule we have rolled out ahead of us at both tracks. A lot of good stuff, especially at Lincoln Speedway too. And then on top of that, we got the PA Posse series too, where there's a new level of camaraderie between the local tracks. When you talk about Central PA, of course, you start with Williams Grove, then Port Royal, Lincoln Speedway, BAPS, Silians Grove, Clinton County, Bedford, Grandview. They're just, everybody's working together. We're communicating. and nothing but good can come out of that. We got to the point where we realized that, especially Port and Lincoln, both being Saturday night tracks, you could definitely see a difference when there was a big race at one track, how it impacted the turnout at the other track. And we finally got smart enough to just get in a room and said, hey, let's figure this out. So when Port Royal has a big race, they're about an hour and a half from Lincoln Speedway. Lincoln Speedway does not run 410 sprint cars, and vice versa when Lincoln has a big one going on too.
Yeah.
Now, we here in the Midwest, up in Sioux Falls, it's a half hour for us. But at Midwest Expo, what was it all called?
Yeah, something like that.
But so Huset's was there with Doug Johnson and Jason Reed from Knoxville, and there was several other promoters there. Rapid Speedway was there and stuff. But is this, we interviewed Doug Johnson, and then literally 10 steps away is Jason Reed, and we talked to him next with Knoxville, and they're all working together now. So is this kind of a new, because before that wasn't always the case, and they almost would do the opposite just to see if they can make the other one mad, I think. But is it the new thing in order to keep these tracks open to all work together?
I don't know if I would call it new. Both the gentlemen you mentioned there, I'm proud to call them friends, and they were definitely impactful as we worked through this because, I talked to Doug more than I do to Jason, and just hearing Doug say about how they're working together at his two tracks and along with Knoxville, a light bulb went off, at least for me. But, Steve O'Neill at Port Royal has been trying to get this happening for many, many years now. And I think one of the misnomers is out there, especially again, to go back to the Port and Lincoln thing. I feel like so many people feel that there's like a rivalry between the two. It's not. I mean, obviously we're competing businesses on the same night, but we truly try to work together when it comes to rules, maybe some disciplinary things. If something happens at one track, we started a year or so ago that if somebody has an infraction, say their tire test comes back, they're not allowed to race for whatever number of races at any of the tracks. You can't go to Port if you had a bad experience at Lincoln, and vice versa. So we've been working together quite a bit. We just finally took it to the next level, and a lot of it was out of necessity too. I mean, we all know that the business of racing isn't as good as it used to be. I wouldn't call it bad by any stretch of the imagination, but you always want to do the best you can do for your business. And this is just something that was kind of a no-brainer to improve on. And the best part of it is all the relationships were in place. All the tracks that I mentioned earlier, we all knew each other. We did a lot of stuff at these racing shows. We all traveled to, Knoxville Nationals. We pretty much all end up out there anyways. And we're talking out there too. So it was just the next natural step to try to get in the room. We got in the room a couple times during the off season, just figured all this out.
Yeah. And I like that rule where you guys, if the guy gets in trouble at your track, he's in trouble at the rest of the tracks too, because that it makes the penalty that much more severe, you could say. He's not, because out in Pennsylvania, you only got to drive an hour or so to get to the next track. So you get in trouble for cheating at the one. Well, next week you just drive an hour the other direction and you're on another track. Well, this way, it holds more power or whatever you want to say. I like that rule.
Yeah, I would agree. And I wish I could take credit for it, but that was kind of Justin at Williams Grove. He came up with this and said, I think this would be a nice thing to implement. And that kind of started, really, in my mind, that's when it started the sort of the camaraderie thing is, one thing led to the next. We started to talk about, what's the next step to make all this work.
Yeah. And it only can be a good thing if everybody's working together, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than having two local tracks have big events on the same night, and then you got to flip a coin as to which one you want to go to.
Yeah. My next thing that I would love to see is all the guys that work on the track come together and share all their secrets on, what they do to the track to keep moisture in it and all that stuff. So I think that would be a really
Maybe
good
they already
thing
do
also.
that and we just don't know about it.
Oh, they possibly do.
We don't know everything by far. So.
All right. What do you think, Toad? We go rapid fire?
I think we should hit him up with that. Unless we forgot something. Did we forget anything, Scott?
No, I think we covered a lot of it. I just really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this stuff. I mean, Rick has spoke very highly of what you guys got going on there. So, and I know Earl was on a couple of weeks ago, and
Yep.
I ran into Earl at a race at Baptist Motor Speedway, Earl Hoon, and I told him I was excited to jump on here.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
good.
we're super happy to have you. Let's see how these rapid fire questions goes. They're so tough. Do you have a favorite kind of ice cream?
For me, it's all about soft serve, and I'll do the mix, chocolate and vanilla mixed together.
You bet. Now, here in Rock Rapids, we have a strawberry and vanilla mix. Have you ever tried that?
No, but I would be very interested in that because any sort of soft serve works for me, but strawberry is definitely at the top of the list too.
Yeah, that's
There's
good.
an ice cream shop out in PA, I call it north of Biglerville, 15 minutes or so. That's really good. I can't never remember the name of it, but I know where it's at. So we went there twice last year when we were out there. They got good ice cream there.
All right.
Okay.
Next one.
Next question. Where are we at? Cat or dog person? Which one do you prefer?
Or
Dog person. I'll be the first to admit I'm not a big pet guy, but dog for sure.
All right. Now, I know you're a busy guy, but do you have any hobbies outside of the racing world?
One of the funny things about my life is just being in the golf cart business. One would think that I love the golf, and it's actually quite the opposite. I'm not very good at it. I golf a handful of times a year socially. So golf wouldn't be that. I'm a big foodie. I have an awesome girlfriend in April Clark. We like to go to nice places and try different places. So a nice dinner is kind of what I like to do to sort of relax and have fun.
Well, then we have a question.
Food is always good.
We have a question coming
good.
up that'll maybe take him a little while to answer.
That's
that.
all right. We'll see if he can outlast Dom.
Yeah.
Dominic Selzy, when we asked him that question, he broke her down to Chinese, to sushi, to Mexican, to American food. He broke them all down for us. So, but we'll get there eventually. First, we got to hit up some other ones. How about favorite movie?
I'm a Will Ferrell guy. So if I had to pick one of his stepbrothers, I feel like I can pretty much memorize those one-liners. It's I can watch that once a week and still be happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ain't it funny how we can watch the same movies over and over and still enjoy them? You know exactly what's going to happen, and yet we still laugh every time they do it.
Yeah. Yep. Do you prefer snow or rain?
I'm going to go with snow. Rain and racetracks just don't play well together. And for me, snow kind of represents the off season, which I'm never happy when the season ends, but it's also nice to take a little break. So if you see snow, obviously you're not racing at that point.
Yeah. Little chance to reload and regroup. So, all right. So if you were going to be stranded on an island, what type of music would you have to have along to listen to?
Maybe I'll just drill down to a band or two. Big Linkin Park guy, and In Excess. I feel like there's sort of some synergy between them. They're of different generations, kind of had the same genre there, and some of the things happen with their lead singer. Not in a good way. So that's kind of my likes there. But classic rock. Van Halen, all that stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so this is one we were talking about before. Do you have a favorite place to go out to eat?
Now, I'll never try to match wits with Dominic. So we have a local place here in East Berlin called Sydney's Restaurant and Tavern. We're once a weekers there. It's a little bit of a high end place, but just good, fresh, quality food. They have a lot of nice offerings for fish. I'm kind of a fish guy. April's more of a steak and burger person, so it's just a great place for us to go to. But honestly, we don't discriminate at all. Texas Roadhouse. We went to the local pizza place tonight, and and anything fine dining too. We like everything in between.
That sounds awesome.
Easy man to please. How about a favorite holiday?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think Christmas. It's just again, it kind of falls into the off season. It gives you a chance to kind of wind down. Being in the golf cart business, a lot of times we'll shut down between Christmas and New Year's. Our employees give a lot of themselves during the summer when we're busy. So if we have the ability to, we'll shut down for that week. It just seems like everything slows down, everything resets, and you just come out with a fresh perspective. So I would go with that Christmas leaning into New Year's Eve.
Just so you know, Fritz agrees on the eating place. He says,
Yeah.
that's a great place. Steve Dixon says hi, bud.
Yep. So we asked this one mainly because we usually get a lot of race car drivers on there, but how many speeding tickets do you have?
I literally just got a ticket like 2 weeks ago coming home from Lincoln Speedway. I made a wrong hand turn on the wrong road, and I literally got a ticket at the base of my driveway. So speeding tickets, not really, but I usually do something dumb about once every 18 months that ends up with $250 going to the state of Pennsylvania, and it just kind of is what it is.
There you go. There you go.
So in regards to speeding, I know there ain't a straight road in Pennsylvania, at least I haven't found one yet, but what's the fastest you've ever driven down the highway or, say, ridden with somebody else if you were in the passenger seat?
It's definitely three figures. Our Pennsylvania Turnpike, you can get her going there. I've probably done 100, 105.
Okay.
When I race legend cars at a road course outside of DC called Summit Point Raceway, they had a straightaway there that was downhill about a half a mile long, and it was just crazy how fast we were going in a legend car. And at the bottom of the hill, you had to literally turn 90 degrees and head back up. So there was a lot of thrill there.
And that's some good breaks at that point.
What's your favorite drink or beverage?
Lately, it's been a little bit of tequila, but I was on a bourbon kick there for a while. You're going to get the alcohol theme here, and I like a good glass of wine, and I'm a water guy too. I don't drink much soda. I drink a lot of water. But when it comes time to have one of these fine meals, especially at Sydney's, they have some great wine selections there. I usually get a glass of Pinot Noir and just have a good meal with it.
Okay, now being Fritz is still commenting. He said BS to the 105. You and Kevin did more than that, he says.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
You always got to be careful. You come on this show and the friends are commenting. So, all right, last question here, and then we won't keep you any longer than that. If say you just won the big Powerball, you just got millions of dollars, don't know what to do with it. Has there ever been an old car or pickup or a boat or motorhome? Is there always something you've always wanted but just don't have the money around for it?
Not so much from a vehicle standpoint. If I was lucky enough to win a magnitude of that amount, this might sound fake, but I would just invest it into speedways. There's so many things that I love to do at these speedways that just take a lot of money and a lot of time, and most of the time it's time too, because you just can't. We race from Lincoln opens in February, BAPS closes in November. You can't tear a lot of stuff apart in the wintertime because you never know if you're going to get a winter like this where you got to put it all back together. But if I stumbled across a bunch of money, I think you'd see a lot of concrete and paving and different things going on at these tracks because I love them. It's a real passion of mine, and I would just invest into them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I got lights for Rapid Speedway on top of my list for speedway improvements. That's if I win the lottery. Yeah. There too, some paving in the infield and stuff. That's super nice at Houston. They got that all paved quite a few years back already. Man, I don't even get my push truck dirty. We don't have to pack track.
No.
So.
Well, Scott, we thank you so much for coming on. This has been a blast. We love talking to guys in PA. Tobe's going to be out there soon.
Bud's got to work.
Yeah, but thanks so much.
Well, thank you guys. I've always had a great admiration for people that have the passion that you guys do to take the time and the energy to do these things and to put the shows on, to promote things, to just be behind pushing the sport forward. So, thank you to you guys. And I'm encouraged to hear that you're coming out to the Weichert. We have a 2-year-old granddaughter that lives literally within eyesight of the speedway. So we're up there quite a bit. And the Weichert is one that we go to. We camp up there. So yep. I hope we get a chance to cross paths and actually meet while you guys are up there.
Well, look for the big Peterbilt that was made into a motorhome, and that's where I'll be.
It's right by the track. He parks right
Oh.
by Todd Weichert, I think. or
No,
something.
we're above. We're up above. We're right by the entrance to the track.
Oh, okay. So
When you walk into to go into the gate, basically is where we're parked. Right there, there's like 5 campers on top of the hill on the opposite side of all the other campers of that building.
Mm-hmm.
We're up there. It says Fulkins on it. He calls it the billboard from when he was trucking all the time. It says Fulkins on top of the motorhome.
there you go.
Might even have our flag hanging there if we got the awning out. So, but anyways,
Well,
thanks.
very nice. If you guys don't mind, I'll tap on your door and introduce myself
Oh,
when we're up there.
absolutely. We don't have a problem with that.
Hey, Scott, can I get you to hang on 1 second? I'm going to wrap this up, and I got to go shut off the FaceTime Live, but I want to talk to you about one thing here, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you again.
All
Yep.
right.
And that was Scott Gobrecht with PA Posse TV. If you want to watch the races out in PA, look it up.